Parents of Reddit, what do you not understand about us teenagers? Not a parent but a teacher. For the most part, teenagers seem nicer than they were 10 years ago. The pricks are still pricks. They pick on and mock anyone that's even slightly different to themselves, but they'll always be a minority. My question is, where does the average teenager draw the line in the sand for who they bully? Nowadays most know not to go after the kid with pronounced autism, but they have no problem going to town on the kids that are clearly on the spectrum and have a hard time saying the right thing at the right time. Can anyone shed some light? I get the need to be cool. I was a teenager once, too. But why carry on with the act when it's just you and your parents? I did it, too. I just don't know why. I'm a teacher, and the one question I always have is, why TF do you feel the need to hit every single door frame you pass by? If you mean the top of the door frame, personally I just always assumed it's because it's a relatively new novel thing you can do now that you've gotten taller in the last few years. You were together 1 minute ago. Why are you now shouting at each other from across the street? Why do I have to pester you about showering more than once a week? Do you want to be the stinky kid? This is how you get to be the stinky kid. Growing up in the 80s, drugs were around, and I thought my kids wouldn't be able to get away with anything because I know what was out there. Then over the decades the party drugs changes, and now I have no idea what my kids are up against. What are they up against? What are the social pressures for today's kids? Recently graduated from teenhood here. Xanax and Adderall are rampant because of all the kids getting prescribed and selling their prescriptions. Obviously the whole dual vape thing. Big one. Drinking was hardly a thing like it used to be. Weed has always been around and today it's the main doc for teens. Not a parent but just some old guy at work. How the heck do you know what's cool or in trend nowadays? There's so much things going on at once and it seems like it changes on a monthly basis. I just don't have time for a whole lot of social media either. Like what? We spend 8 hours a day surrounded by hundreds or thousands of other kids our age. Trends are bound to spread like wildfire. Why do you like TikTok so much? I get that some of the videos are funny, but I couldn't sit and watch an hour of them without losing my mind. I personally don't use it, or Snapchat, because I find the notifications annoying and the format so simple it's complicated. But Facebook is just old people, and now they're invading Instagram too. It's important for these things to feel somewhat private, at least from parents and relatives. The other day in Overwatch, a teen, I assume, said he was carrying when we lost, so I asked him if he was carrying us to defeat or what. His insult was, go work your 8 to 5 grams. Is having a job uncool? No, that was just a bad insult. Why don't you just bring dirty kitchenware or rubbish down every time you come downstairs? Why do you have to be asked to then have to do it at some point later? If you did it regularly, it wouldn't be an issue and save you time and hassle. Not a teenager anymore, but 100% just forgetfulness. Not a parent but an older cousin nearing 30. Why do you essentially give me that shake off? I try and connect with you. I see you going through pretty much the exact same things I did. You are me except half my age. I know the anime you're watching, and used to hide in my room away from everyone when family came to visit in the exact same way you are. I see so much of myself in you, but when I try to reach out and connect I get pushed back. When I was your age I wished that there was an adult I could talk to about anime like Yu Hakusho, Zoids, and Dragon Ball Z. I chose to spend my time in fantasy and wished I had someone to talk to about, but no one else in my family was like me. Now that I see you going through that same thing, why can't we talk? Maybe in 10 years we will be friends. Mostly because most of adults shake us off and are not confident. Most parents are trying to deny they went through it themselves once. My dad used to tell me he was a hard-working model student in high school. He tried to get me to work a lot on productivity and limit my leisure playtime as a child. My mom told me he used to be a party animal and a bit of a womanizer before she met him. My aunt told me he was just insanely smart in high school, so he was always ahead of the curve in classes. Why are you all on Reddit so much? Jokes aside, Reddit has communities for nearly every topic and interest you can think of. If you're a little excluded at school, it can be nice to find a community who shares your love for that TV show or video game. Even if you're doing well socially, hey look, An endless stream of funny dogs and crazy videos and interesting stories. Why not Reddit? Also, what's with all the cursing? Like I swear every time I speak to my teenage cousins every other word's the F word. I mean yeah I swear sometimes too, but like sometimes it's really inappropriate. Also, what's an e-girl? Is it like a scene kid? I'm 63 years old and my grandson keeps saying something when he throws stuff at me. It sounds like he's saying teeth or meat. I thought it was some silly abbreviation like LOL or IDK. He doesn't talk to me that much. Kids are kids. My grandson is 10. I believe that what your grandson is saying is yeet. It's an expression typically used when throwing something at a high velocity. Not a parent, but Fortnite dances. I don't know if that's a teenage thing or younger. It looks ridiculous. Of course, I used to skank to ska music, so I'm not one to talk. It's the younger ones. We die a little more on the inside every time we see a Fortnite dance. How does one yeet? Yeet refers to when one discards an object at a high velocity. Basically you throw something and if you yell yeet it goes further. For Kobe for accuracy, yeet for distance. What's with refusing to learn to drive? And no, I won't drive you to your girlfriend's house. Sheesh. Why are you so loud? I'm sitting right in front of you. So you listen. Make sure you acknowledge what your kid is saying. Participate in their conversation with you. Be engaged. We want validation. Why won't you stay off my goddamn lawn? The grass is always greener. Why it's so hard to ask for help? In my experience, it's usually because of a belief that no one will help you, and people will think you're stupid and mock you. Oftentimes it's because of a bad experience. Why do you love acronyms so much? NGL. There's just too many LMAO. I don't get e-posing. Is it just the pose? Is it meant to have meaning or is it just a meme? It's dead meme by now but its meaning was being dominated or something a fake. I am listening. I am here for you, and the advice I give is from walking the same path you're on now. I just need a bit of help on the details. Don't shut me out. Why you're so grumpy in the mornings? Being grumpy in the morning is not a teenager's thing. Why are you so freaking obsessed with likes and followers? If someone follows me who I don't know I block that creepy frick. Validation. Why you don't stand up more to parents or your boss or a teacher who shoots on you. And, I'm saying this because I wished that I had, and I understand the power issues, and I get that standing up for yourself in healthy ways isn't taught, so it makes this harder, but god dang, you'll have internet and YouTube and information at your fingertips. If someone is being a bust to you, learn about healthy coping skills, online if that's all that's available, and also believe in yourself. Stand up against ideas and people that are oppressing you. Say something. I just got my first real job and I was surprised my boss trusted me when I said I felt sick. I was surprised that he valued my opinion, that I was allowed to make mistakes, that he treated me like a human being. I only knew subservience and the fact that I would be replaced by someone better at the earliest opportunity. Nothing. I was one. It's nice to see the transition of got all the answers at 17 to holy frick. What the frick? Frick. What? This is adulthood frick. Frick at 22. I enjoy watching intelligence become wisdom I guess. Cheers. Why is it so common to have AirPods and if you're hanging out with friends, is the music just not on and if so why have them in at all? Not a parent but someone in my 30s. I just don't get why some teens are such obnoxious jerks. Also why do you all move in large groups and huddle around things in shops? I just don't get it. Being with their group of friends makes them feel safer and secure. If they are seen alone a lot, they would be known as a loner in school. Teenagers scare the living crap out of me. Boo. Can you not see that while we're not perfect, we have been working ourselves so hard for more than a decade to give you the best adult life we can? That you'd rather text than talk. I'm 33 and texting was first becoming a thing when I was late in middle school early in HS. I resisted texting to an extreme degree for years. Today I realize texting is good because it allows for multiple simultaneous conversations, as well as giving one more time to craft an appropriate response. Very important sometimes. that would otherwise be met with uncomfortable silence over the phone. I'm nearly 50, and think that teens now are no different to when I was a teenager, thinking we knew about the world but had no clue. Always looking to at least not be the lamest kid in school or among peers. We hooked onto the latest crazes and catchphrases thinking we were the crap, but parents looked at us like we had two heads. The only difference now is that there is the internet, YouTube channel after channel of teen music and so-called reality. Teen drama shows on tap, turn on the iPad etc, click click click, there it is. We had no social media though, so you'd call someone a T to their face rather than from behind a keyboard. I spent a lot of time alone in my room as a teen, so I get that and that's normal to me. But I don't get why my teens won't turn on a dang light. They will sit in darkness, or try and do homework with no light. It's annoying and makes me laugh. I go in their rooms and flick lights on. Why do you need to post a picture of your food? That you are still growing and learning. That you are frustrated by limitations and eager to prove yourselves. That you are going through a lot biologically and socially. Why do you go into your room for 20 minutes and come out sweaty? Well, either the room is very hot, or I am doing something with my pee. The bizarre humor, like cursed images and long Furbies and stuff. There's a beans in places that beans should not be Instagram that my son thinks is the funniest thing ever. Also, how the heck are you guys so politically active and justice minded? I'm Gen X. We had apathy and BJ jokes. You're out here organizing, signal boosting, paying attention to climate change and income inequality and LGBTQ+ rights. It's awesome. I love it. I hope you 18 and 19-year-olds vote en masse. I just don't understand how it started. One more question. What do you need from your mom? Alright, hear me out. Beans. The food. In place they shouldn't be. Beans in a clock. Beans in someone's crock. It's just funny. My mom said, why all the time they are mad? What do you secretly long for from your parents but would never admit? I'll give a couple examples. A friend who is now a pastor went through a divorce when he was teen years. People envied him because his parents let him stay out whenever and go wherever. He said he would never admit it at the time, but after a couple years his dad got saved. He has since been outspoken about how he felt when he had freedom, and then after when he dad enforced some rules, in a stricter but loving way. He said when he got what every kid wanted in absolute freedom he felt alone, and loved and like no one cared. When his dad enforced rules, while he didn't like them at times, he felt someone cared for him enough to protect him. He'd never admit it at that age but he did later. Another, my daughter, 14, was invited to her party. It wasn't going to be wild, drinking fricking etc, but she knew that some things were going to happen she would be uncomfortable with. She felt pressured by her friends. We asked what would be going on, who would be there adult-wise etc. It sounded off to us so we said no. She of course whines and objected at the time. Months later when she wanted to go to something else, unprompted, she said, I want to tell you thank you for holding your ground. I didn't really want to go to the party and your caring allowed me to blame you to my friends. I was flawed but thought how many times in my life was I happy I didn't have to make the choice. Funny part is I said she could invite her friends to our house and almost all of them came over. Apparently they felt the same. I am a teenager who feels out of touch with most of my peers. Why has smoking and drinking become normalized and at times even praised? Not a parent but someone who volunteers with teenagers. We meet weekly and discuss life issues and hang out, play games, eat food, good stuff. But people often stay uncomfortable with being part of the conversation until they're 17, 18, 19 and getting ready to graduate out. What can we do to encourage younger teen involvement in the group and make people more comfortable to share thoughts and opinions? I have a question for the parents. Are you just idiotic? Or are you literally incapable of remembering what it's like to be a teenager? Some of these questions are incredibly obvious to anybody who is a teenager and it's unbelievable that they're being asked. I'm sorry to be so rude, but it's insane. I swear to God I'm going to try as hard as I can to remember this stage of my life so that I can be better to kids, if I have any. Everyone has physical relations. Why do you get weird when me and your mother bring it up with your friends? With your friends. Just gonna guess it's that part right there. Why do teenagers have such a hard time admitting they were wrong and just apologize? I've never seen such defensive stubbornness. You have been spotted by the money pigeon. Comment gimme gimme and he will bless you with good fortune. Like and subscribe, you magnificent person.